We are, as they say, kids. Hey, we're live. Welcome to
Not live on the big
2026.
screen, no. Hang on.
All right, go. I know. Here we go. I'm going to run the.
How much of a delay is there between this and actual YouTube live?
We are live. It's 2026, boys and girls. Welcome to the show.
Okay.
We want to thank all the fans for joining us this morning. We're early as always, but while we wait for Princess, just to make sure that you realize it's 2026 and Rizza can figure out the big screen, we're going to go ahead and do this.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Welcome to Habanos Saturday, the fastest growing cigar show on YouTube with over 100,000 subscribers. Come join us every Saturday live.
And here we are. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to 2026. Whatever today is. What is today,
It
by
was
the way?
hard
Today
work
is
getting here. I
January
hope it's worth
3rd.
it. Yeah, I hope it's worth it.
Let me tell you. Wow, let me
We
tell
have
you.
to
Yeah,
go
it
through
was hard work for all of us.
2025 to get to 2026.
I know. And we're here. So congratulations to us. Congratulations to the fans. People from around the world will start watching shortly. We'll put the comments up because we know we like the people that troll us. So God forbid we don't get that. So there you go.
You enjoyed that. The butt end of
The trolling? Oh my
story.
God. I live for the trolling. And as you're going to tell over the next couple of weeks, the show is going to be changing the vibe. We got some cool cartoonish caricatures of us,
Well,
the
I do
music,
notice there's a
everything.
red theme going on. Suddenly, from
You
last year
wanted
was
red,
green,
isn't?
and this year is kind of like red.
Yeah.
We have some new sort of cartoon characters that represent us on Instagram, on social media. Which, to be fair, to be honest with you, I think is actually for a change is a bit of a step up in your
I
production. I
agree.
think we spend maybe $3 on
Wow.
production, and now we've doubled the
Whoa,
budget to
whoa.
$6.
I was just
Uh,
gonna say, first of all, let's not get carried away. We spent $1.50 and we've upped
well,
it to
there you go.
$3.
There
Yeah.
you
So
go.
let's
And
not
one
get
decent
carried.
one well placed short can recompense that on
That's
YouTube.
right.
No,
And we did.
yeah.
And we do. We have that one short that's at 26,000 right now. So we want to thank all the fans for watching that short. That's awesome.
As a
Yeah. So
reminder,
we are here.
do you want to tell
Yeah.
everyone what that short is about?
Well, first of all, there's a mama
Oh, let
bird
me do it. Let me do
and
it.
a
You
daddy.
do
Okay.
throw
Okay.
it
I'm
out.
sorry.
So it's basically the Cohiba Amber cigar. That short was
Yeah.
about the Cohiba Amber cigar that was released, I think, more than a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Shorts from November of
And
last year.
yeah, and I smoked it first at Mr. AJ Patel and Rekha Patel and Bhavna Patel's place, number 6 Cavendish, and
A lot of Patels. Yeah.
that was my recollection. It could be wrong. It was around August 2024. That was roughly that kind of time. I could be wrong.
Right. But
Anyway,
we
that
put the
one's doing
short
really
out
well, and
November
I
of
think it's doing
25.
well because Cohiba's 60th anniversary is coming up
Yeah.
in
So that
Romania.
short is I think it's 25,000 or 26,000, which means that it could break 30,000. We'll see.
Yeah, so that's another thing. When I see some of our content go in a really, really sort of like very viewed or very liked direction, I kind of start looking
Right.
around at other people's content. I'm trying to
Really?
gauge how big the cigar social media universe actually is.
I,
I
I
don't know
got
if
a
anyone's
little
ever done
nervous
a
when you
study
said
of
how
that.
big. So, so
Sorry?
yeah. I said I got a little nervous when you said how big. So, but go ahead.
Well, there you go. But I, not that it's a science here, but I'm always curious uh, how many sort of really sort of bona fide influencers are out there, social media
Right.
specialists are out there. It's just growing, growing, growing at an alarming rate. How many YouTube shows are there about cigars, right?
Right.
So we've got a little bit of a mild rebrand. Is
Yeah.
we are the Habanos Saturday's alternate cigar show. And the whole
There
point
you
of
go.
throwing alternate in is having scanned the cigarverse, the cigar
Yes.
universe online, right? Uh, there are a lot of people who sit around and they'll talk about their favorite cigars, or they'll do cigar ratings, or they'll do sort of like a podcast on cutting and lighting a cigar.
Right.
And that was never our aim, to be very honest. I never thought of that as our aim. We were sort
Right.
of like friends getting together to have a chinwag about what's happening in our cigar lives. Let's
Right.
put it that way, right? Yeah. So we're convening around cigars. So that's why I thought let's go for the alternate cigar show. Primarily because we pretty much get away with saying whatever we feel like, yeah.
That's a true
Um,
statement.
about what we think is right, what we think is wrong. And I don't mean that as grumpy old men, even though we are grumpy old men, yeah.
One of us is old.
I meant more as sort of like commentators, like
Yeah.
why should everything be perfect? Why should every cigar be perfect? Why should every
Yeah.
cigar experience be perfect? It's not, right? Yeah.
Mm.
And there's a bit of leg pulling that goes along with that. And I think we get away with it. I don't know if anyone does it. I haven't really seen anyone else do it that way.
No, because they're pussies. There's a different. We
There
have
you go.
balls, and we're not making a living from this. Trust me, we're not making a living from this at all. The video with
But we
26,000.
do get kudos. I think we get kudos. I never realized this yet, but we actually get some kudos because
We do.
people think we're a bit of I think that people think we're a bunch of oddballs and think, what the fuck are they doing? Yeah, what is
Right.
it they're doing?
And
What is
I
it
think they're
they're trying to
paying us to go away, I think is what it is. But I will say that, yes, we do get a couple fans that give us like super likes and give us money, which we're always grateful
Super
for.
fans. Call them super fans.
Super fans. But I will say this so everybody understands. The video that did 26,000 likes so far, I think we've made $4. So it's not like we make money. We do this because we like all hanging out and we let you come hang out with us. So,
Yeah,
and the reason we also.
I like the way that you said that out loud, so the tax man is mitigated in
Right. And
substantially
and-
more than that.
no, we really haven't. Trust me when I tell you, we haven't. And also because I'm in Monaco, I know I'm Monaco's citizen. Trust this face.
Trust this man
because
with the pinstripe suit. And
That's
the only
right.
reason he put the pinstripe jacket on
there we go.
is because he got very carried away with his cartoon character. That got
Yes,
put up
I did.
yesterday. He said,
I
"Oh,
did.
That
I
looks
did.
very elegant. I must dress to meet that expectation."
I have to, right. So now I have to always look dapper on Saturdays when I'm going to do the show. Want to go smoke cigars in the real world, I can be a schleb. But anyway, no, I mean, here in Monaco, we don't have to worry about taxes. It's the way it works. But the important thing about our show is, and the reason we do get away with things is because we're not cowtailing to anybody. Like when I called out Davidoff for something, Roy was nice enough to tell me I was an idiot. I agreed, and we're done. But you've called out EGM cigars. We've called out Cuban. We've called out everybody.
If you calling out,
I mean, we bring things to
maybe
people's
not
attention.
calling out, maybe just sort of like critique.
Yeah,
Sort of
okay.
like, I like this, I don't like this, I don't
Well,
understand this, I don't get it. Yeah, our sort of topic today is meant to be, and it was inspired by a conversation I had with Jean-Marie yesterday evening. Right, it's about packaging versus content or substance. Right. Okay. Which
kind of like this show.
No, that's applicable to absolutely everything, actually.
Correct.
It's a metaphor for everything. It's a metaphor for people, experiences, whatever. But in the cigar world, right, and you were talking about this in relation to the Davidoff Year of the Horse box, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the packaging, in real terms, it does look more expensive than the cigars inside, to be very honest.
The cigars inside, I think, are $55 or $60 a cigar. The box costs, well, I got it at a discount. It fell off a truck. But anyway, the box costs somewhere between $500 and $600, which is fine. But I think 250 of that has got to be you get the little gold thing. I get another box. I got a box on top of a box. I've got it's like, just give me the 10 cigars. So you can't make someone pay $600, if you will, for a cigar or a box of cigars, unless the box is like, oh my God.
When it comes to packaging, it's been going on for a long, long time. You know, like perfume bottles are famously far more expensive than the perfume contained inside, right?
Correct.
And the very extreme example is when you go to the cinema and you buy a big carton of popcorn.
Right.
Do you know that the cardboard carton is more expensive than the popcorn in it? Yeah. And we're talking cents or pence. Yeah. The carton is more expensive. And I noticed a little bit something also during COVID lockdown and post-COVID lockdown. This is sort of like 5-ish years ago. The world changed substantially because people are ordering online, and I'm talking about luxury products, any product really, but luxury products. The packaging is substantial. If you order anything, there's the outer box, there's the inner box, then there's the sort of like the layers in there. And so the element of building up to the thing in the middle whatever it may be,
Right.
is as important, in fact, more important than the actual thing. So that's what, people,
Yeah.
that's where the upsell happens.
Yeah.
And when it comes to cigar boxes or humidors, bloody hell, they've gone through the roof. These bespoke
Yeah.
humidor boxes and artisan products outprice the cigars inside.
Yeah, but I think part of that is because, and I say this with all due respect, the public is stupid. So, I told the story a few years ago. Remember, I went to this cigar place and I said, "Oh, I've never had a Rocky Patel. How is it?" And this guy's sitting there with their $100 Rocky Patel stick in his anniversary box at Score. And I go, "How is it?" He goes, "It should tell you I bought a box for it's like $1,000." And I'm thinking, "Oh, you're an idiot. I don't know you." So that's not what I asked. So I think part of the people who think they're cigar aficionados or anybody that thinks they know anything about a cigar, they buy these expensive boxes to say, "Look how big my penis is." And I don't care. When I bought my Year of the Horse, my chemist, when I was smoking my cigar, said, "Would you like a box?" I go, "I'd love one." He stuck everything in the brown bag. And I paid for it. And when I left with my little brown bag and no one had a clue what was in it. I didn't run around going, "Look what I bought." It's nobody's business.
No, but it's the currency of the world now.
Maybe. Not for
People
us.
used to say, we know expressions like style over substance, right? Yeah, these
Right,
used to be
right.
considered very negative things. Yeah,
Right.
they're now the world is reversed. Style is what people want. The substance is the thing they don't want. People like you and I wanted the substance. The
Right.
modern audience, the young audience, these aficionados and aficionadas,
Mm-hmm.
want style.
Yeah, but that's pretty stupid. I mean,
From your
listen,
perspective, it's stupid, but from their perspective, that's what they want.
yeah, I understand that
And that's what
because
they're
they're
willing to
5
pay
years
for as
old.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but this is why, I have to look this good on the show. But that's style and substance. See, there's both. However, I don't need to pay $1,000 for a box of cigars because the box costs $990 of it. So
Yeah, but
I just want a good cigar. Like if my cigar never came with a band on it and I knew it was a BK 58, I'm good. You know what I mean? It's like I don't need to show the world that I'm smoking whatever I'm smoking because I enjoy that cigar.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
I
need
think
this
this is
everybody.
less to do with product, it's to do with the mentality of people,
Probably.
right? Okay.
Well, they're 5 years
So
old.
if
I get
you're
it.
if you've got a great cigar, and that's
Right.
subjective as well, a great
That's
cigar.
true.
What is great cigar? Okay, my taste is different. Your taste is different. Usman's
Right.
taste, and when I say Usman, I wonder where Usman is. By the way,
Well,
I think he's
Princess is
hiding,
probably still in hair and
hiding
makeup.
up. He's hiding behind those red curtains behind us, right?
I
Okay.
bet you. I can't wait till he shows up. I've got a perfect
Here's
intro for
Johnny.
him. Yeah, here's
Yeah,
Johnny.
here's Johnny. And the thing is this, yeah. So it's what sword fighting. Who's that? Little cheap text sword fighting. Yeah,
I don't know who that is, but cute.
sword fighting.
Thank you. A
Anyway,
little sword fighting. Very nice. You're
uh,
cute.
so it's what your personality brings to the deal, right? Okay.
Right.
So if it's a good cigar or a bad cigar, if you're you can enjoy it, you can put into it what you want to put into it. Okay, you
Right.
can make an experience out of it, or you can just trash it, right? Okay.
Right.
But the thing is this, that the modern human being, the modern audience, the younger audience. So what am I, Generation X? What are you, baby boomer?
No, baby, what the fuck, baby boomer? I was around 17 billion years ago. I'm what they call I'm an
No,
original.
in terms of generations, the boomer generation, then there's
I'm an
Generation
original.
X,
I'm the
Generation
original generation. I'm the one who started it. Me and this
Okay,
other guy.
so the modern audience, the modern cigar smoking audience, and let
Right.
me put this in sort of like, I would say around between 21 to 35 years old, is heavily marketing influenced, heavily marketing swayed, heavily,
Right.
right? Okay, and it's not just with cigars, it's with absolutely everything else, right? People like us, and I'm beginning to fall into that category because I'm 150 years old, right? Yeah.
That's true.
We come from a time where we appreciated things in a different way.
Right.
The modern audience would say you're a bunch of idiots, yeah, because really you should go for the whole thing, the whole shebang. We used to like the product, like the chocolate has to taste great, or the cigar has to be nice, or the whiskey, or whatever it is.
Right.
Now they want the packaging and they want the fanfare that goes with it. and they're willing to pay for it as well. So as a consequence, and that's why the reference of, packaging versus product, and we're talking about pricing.
Right.
I'm not talking about pricing. We're saying if you're paying £500 for a box of cigars, how much of that actually is the cigar and how much of it is the packaging, really, to bring it down to base level?
Well, let's pick on Davidoff because we like Davidoff. Actually, I do. We enjoy their cigars and whatnot. If you look at the year of the horse, it comes with a little fake gold plate, which is very cute with a horse. Comes with a box to put it in.
It's a gold bullion.
Yeah, if it was gold bullion, that thing would have cost more than 500 pounds. Anyway, so it comes with the fake gold bullion. It comes with this. It comes with that. It's very nice. It's very pretty. But I'm thinking when I'm buying this and I'm paying like an idiot $500, I'm thinking, all right, so here's $400. And the cigars then, it tells you what the cigars are really worth. And I get it. It's all marketing. It's all this. It's all that. But really, at the end of the day, what happens if you didn't do that? What happens if you just sold it to me in a bundle? I'd still buy it.
Well, this is it. This was, as I was saying, this kind of dialogue is inspired by a conversation I was having with our friend yesterday evening, Jean-Marie. And he said something very, very simple. And it's the simple things that really count, yeah? It's 30, 40 years ago, even less, yeah? Cigars used to come in very, very plain packaging, very plain boxes. It was just very simple cedar wood or whatever it is. And you had... I don't know if you had paper inside necessarily, but paper. There would. If it was a very luxurious box, you would have paper. But otherwise, it was just a plain box, and you would have a bunch of cigars in there, etc. And that was it. And I would love to go back to that. To be very honest with you, I would love for it to go back in that direction. I don't think it is. But now you're having to pay more for the simpler things.
Yeah,
there's the Andrew Tate references again.
There we go.
Andrew Tate references again. Who ordered an Andrew Tate from Temp? Who the fuck are you, fucking wanker? Is that it? Is that all you got? Is that all you got? You got anything intellectual to say?
No, that's it. That
Andrew
was his
Tate's
intellectual.
half my fucking age, you fucking monkey. I mean, what the hell? Fuck off who you are.
Yeah, I like when Rizzo holds back. No, but
I can't stand these little fucking shits, yeah? They're people that we know, to be very honest with you, yeah? And they hide behind these names, yeah? More than welcome to throw insults at me, yeah, you fucking cunt. Piss off.
Right. I love it. Anyway, just to let the fans know, Princess won't be here today. She can't get out of hair and makeup. But, we couldn't find the glue to put the beard on. But anyway, I think a lot of it.
I'm not. By the way, if you want to engage, I'm not mad. You're the person hiding behind an icon, poking. Clearly, you're mad.
Yeah, I like that. All right, now let's get back to the real show. So anyway, so I think to your point, there's an age group that needs to show off. We had this discussion, and I think you were part of it yesterday on Lost Dollar Business Club. We were talking about the difference between rich and wealth. What rich people, the nouveau riche, they want to show off. They want this. They look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And then you have people with wealth that are just sort of like, yeah, okay, I'm good. Like, you don't need to know. I can wear nice clothing or have a nice watch or but you don't need I don't need to show off. I just wear it with my normal jeans or my normal shirt and nobody knows. But so I think that's a part of what's going on right now is that people are trying to show off when they buy things. I know there's like the guys where I buy my cigars and when we sit and smoke, a lot of them are like me. They talk to the manager. They'll be like, I'm going to take this box.
From your perspective, people are showing off, but from their perspective,
you're showing off.
It's a normalization. That's just how culture behaves these days.
I guess
that's just a modern way of flaunting it, blinging it, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And the only reason, like I put it on the Instagram, is because you and Ray shamed me into, telling me I was an influencer, which I'm not. And I put it up there because you're like, you got to put it up there. You got to post. So I post. I'm like, there's a box. Good luck. But I mean, other than that, if we didn't have the show, I would never post any of the stuff I smoke. I do it because we have fans and they're curious. So I have to, go ahead and go, okay, like here's what I'm smoking, or here's my cigar humidor carry, whatever it is, blah, 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 by Cilaro. from Bronco. Thank you very much for that. And then this gentleman says he has a question for you. So go ahead and ask your question. I can't wait to hear this intellectual gentleman's question. That was a great question. Thanks for asking. Go ahead. So
there you go. So tell us about this Year of the Horse box.
So the Year of the Horse comes 2 boxes, not just one. The first box has the cigars in it, and there's padding, and it's on my Instagram. There's padding around, and it's got a beautiful little red snapper in the box. Oh my, like this is absolutely gorgeous. Like it's so gorgeous. The box is still in the box it came in.
Yeah.
Then they give you a second box, and the second box is when, after you pop out the gold bullion, as you called it, you put it in the box to collect the other gold bullions for the year, all the other years, because they just started it this year. They realized all of a sudden their cigars are popular. So that's what was happening. So I thought that was very interesting. So marketing wise, this is wonderful. Like kudos to Davidoff. Price wise, it's kind of like, it's going to be a point. It's kind of like what's happening in the London market. You're going to price yourself out of the marketplace. People are going to be like, I'm not going to pay like $1,000 or $1,500 for a box of cigars. It's just not, it's just, to your point, it's just rolled leaves. You know,
I think people are paying more and more for what they perceive to be it's just a lifestyle pursuit. When I say just a lifestyle, it's becoming more and more of a lifestyle pursuit. Cigar smoking, as far as I can relate to it, always was about my favorite brand, my favorite cigar, the cigar. And I mentioned this last week, I think, when I was talking about, cigar collectors. They're not collecting everything, just collecting specific stuff. And if you ever meet them, I mean, really top-notch cigar smokers with pedigree and experience, they don't smoke a huge range. They have their, 5, 6, 7 favorite brands, or even 5, 6, favorite cigars. And they smoke those mainly most of the time. And I remember my father, my father would go and I'm not talking about my father's cigars, I'm talking about my father 40 years ago. Really, I wouldn't ever see him smoking anything other than Monte Cristo or Romeo and Julieta. And this was in the 80s, right? Early 80s, all the way through the 80s and 90s. So they wouldn't say, I'm smoking this, I'm smoking. They found something they like. And this is like cigarette smokers, for example. They go and find the brand that they like. And really, that's probably what they'll always smoke. Someone will always just say, look, I only smoke Marlboro Lights or Camels or whatever it is. Yeah. The range of cigars that are being produced now, and I'm talking about these regional editions and edition limitadas and the Grand Reserves, etc., they, as far as I can see, they have their merit, I guess, but they're really about keeping everyone excited about what's coming next, what's coming next, and sort of reeling in the newer audience and a more global audience into smoking cigars. And I don't just mean the Cubans, by the way, all the other cigar making countries, and there is such a burst of brands in the last few years. Everyone is vying for market space, and it kind of reminds me of the pizza wars that happened in the 80s and 90s when
between Domino's and Little Caesars and Pizza Hut.
So many pizza companies. I mean, at the end of the day, the product was just flour, water, a bit of tomato sauce, and some cheese, right? At the end of the day, that's your base product, right? Okay. And it's a very inexpensive product when economies of scale set in, right? And same with tobacco leaves. This is a crop, and of course, there's a lot of work. Of course, I'm not taking that. There's a lot of work, a lot of cost associated with, harvesting these leaves, ripening them, cigar rolling, cutting, the whole process. I've seen it in Dominican Republic. It's a huge, huge industry. But at the end of the day, it is just a crop. It's like tea or coffee, but the upsell is massive. The upsell is absolutely huge. The weight of dry leaves and what they actually go for, especially when they're Cuban dried leaves. I mean, it's remarkable.
Here we go. Oh, forget Cuban. How about Davidoff's year of whatever? Davidoff's year of whatever.
No, it's the same. It's the same because whether it's Cuban or not, the whole tobacco industry, and I'm talking in terms of cigars, have understood that you can really upsell what is
Right.
essentially a basic product. Yeah.
Like
And the
some dried
packaging
leaves. Yeah.
and the packaging slash marketing is what upsells it.
Right.
Right. So, these beautiful Arturo Fuente boxes, I've seen them. They're
Yep.
absolutely beautiful. Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
They're getting more and more elaborate.
Yep.
The Cuban cigar humidors are getting more and more elaborate,
Right.
especially when you got the Habanos Festival coming up in, I think, February
Yes.
next month. The large bespoke cabinets, these standalone humidors, they go for millions and millions of dollars,
Right.
Hmm.
But what's interesting about it is, like, take the Opus X. So the Opus X, depending on which one you buy, it's just a normal box. Like the cigars could be $17 a stick up to $100 a stick. So it just depends. But there's some Opus X, these regionals and whatever, that are like, oh my God, that
When you go and visit these regions, like, for example, I was in Dominican Republic maybe
Right.
4 years ago, 3 years, 4 years
Right,
ago, I
right.
can't remember now. The illusion is a little bit taken away from you, okay? Which is
Yeah.
a good thing, it's a bad thing as well, right? Okay. You can. I was staying at a hotel in Santiago in Dominican Republic for this Pro Cigar event, and in the hotel was a cigar merchants, okay? And I walked in there, and they had, all the Dominican brands, the LFD and Saga cigars and Fuente, etc., etc., etc.
Right.
And then they had loose sticks, unbanded loose sticks,
Right.
and in bunches. They were like $1, $2 a piece. And
Yeah.
between you and me, and the audience, yeah,
Right.
I couldn't tell the difference between these and perhaps even the top end brands. I just couldn't tell. And so when you strip it down to the leaves, yeah, these are relatively inexpensive products. It's the upselling comes from the packaging and the marketing, of course. But how much of it how much is it upsold? That's for you and I to guess and debate.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, it does cost money to have people run your plantation, if you will, right? I understand that. So you got to pay for someone to run the plantation. You have to pay for someone to run around and sniff tobacco all day. Then you have to pay for the ladies to roll the tobacco, or the guys to roll the tobacco. Then I got to pay for someone to read a book while they roll the tobacco. So I mean, I understand that there's like a cost associated with it, but is it really like? I'm going to pick on Rocky Patel. So sorry, Rocky, but like this $1,000 cigar or $100 cigar from Rocky Patel, it was shit. And so my question then is, how's this $100 cigar?
Yeah,
Like,
but
what did you?
that's the emperor has no clothes kind of thing. Yeah.
No, I got that. But my
If
point,
you spend $100 for the cigar, most people sitting in that room will say, "Oh wow, this is marvelous."
yeah, that was
Because
crap.
they
It was
won't
the
have
worst
the guts
cigar.
to say this is. I didn't
Yeah,
enjoy that, right?
but that's kind of my whole thing. It's like, so when I buy, and we all know I love my CAO Brazilian Amazons, right? And those are $5 or $6 a stick, and they're a great smoke. And that's one of my go-to cigars because it is a great smoke. I also like which everybody makes fun of me, my Diamond Crown, Tampa brand, which is the Florida tobacco, which is good. I like certain Opus X's. I like my Davidoffs. So I have a collection, even the Padron 1926. There are cigars that I like.
There are
But some of
cigars to
these cigars
everyone's
are pretty.
taste. Everyone has
Yeah.
different tastes. Look at the variety. I mean, who's to know what is good taste and who's to know what is bad taste?
Well, we know.
There is
That's
a
the
way
important thing.
kind of negotiate, because people who've been around, and this is to experience here, people who've been around for a long time, who've seen the development of the industry, are,
Right.
in my opinion, in a better position to tell you what it should be and what it's become. Okay.
Okay.
Right? Because they've got reference points, yeah.
Right.
But at the end of the day, someone who's, let's say, a new cigar smoker, a youngster, someone who's 24, 25 years old, right? And
Right.
I'm beginning to see more younger people in cigar lounges, and they'll sit with 2 or 3 friends and say, "Oh, I just finished university. I wanted to come and try a cigar." It's that kind of thing, yeah.
Right.
Right?
I never see that.
We
never
see
see
that here in London. We see
Yeah.
that, and I've been seeing that a lot for the past year and a half. Yeah, I've seen this younger audience, and I don't think social media can be quite excused from that. I think people have picked up on this lifestyle of Um,
Yep.
sorry.
There you go.
It's really elegant to smoke a cigar, etc.,
Right.
etc., etc.
Yeah, but see, we don't
th-
see that
th-
here, and I think part of it is because when I travel abroad, or if I'm with one, it's different. But in America, I don't see young, what you call young people. I don't see people of a certain age. Let me put it that way. I don't see the little, get the people that got participation trophies smoking cigars. I see old school guys, whether they're 40 years old or 140, or in my case, 17 billion. Um, I see old school guys smoking cigars, drinking scotch or whiskey, and they're there not for any other reason but to be there for the camaraderie of it. No one's doing it for the lifestyle. No one gives a crap. I think in London, Monaco, other places, I think, yes, Dubai, it's all lifestyle. It's all look at me, look at me, look at me. Where I go, nobody cares. It's like, you know what I mean? I mean, they're smoking a cigar. They could care less, I think, about X, Y, Z. It's for the camaraderie.
That's very interesting. But then that the U.S. market specifically sounds and looks different from our perspective because of the general absence of Cuban cigars. Of course, you can get Cuban cigars in the USA,
Right.
yeah, one way or the other, right? But there's a
Don't tell
general
Donnie.
absence. So it, to me, and especially through culture, arts and culture, like things like Sons of Anarchy, etc., etc.,
Right,
yeah,
right.
programs like that, yeah. What the impression I get is cigar smoking is a much more blue collar activity. Yeah, it's a much more widespread blue collar activity. That's the
Probably, right.
that's the
Probably
impression I
not.
get.
Yeah,
No,
probably not. No. So when I lived in Manhattan, I belonged to Habana Club. That is far from blue collar, and that place was
no,
always packed.
I'm saying at a more general level because
No, even on a general level, I think, how do I put it? I think it's across the board. I don't think in
yeah, but it's not across
America.
the board everywhere else. That's what
No,
I'm
no,
trying
that's
to
what I'm saying.
say.
In UK, it's not. In Monaco, it's
No, it's a
definitely
high
not.
end activity. It's a
Yeah,
higher end activity here.
but I'm saying
But
in America, we're great because we attacked Venezuela. Anyway, you don't smoke in Caracas anymore. I'm just saying. But anyway, if in the when I go smoke, I sit with an array of people that will be, from whatever to whatever. And the story I tell is when I used to live in Montana. All right,
Already?
I lived in Missoula, Montana. It was great. I loved it. When I lived in Missoula, Montana, I used to smoke at a place called
Dinosaur fossil country.
right. But I used to smoke in a place that was called Liquor in the Front, Poker in the Back, which is a great place to go and good food and whatever. Now, I would be sitting there smoking cigars with a guy who punched a doggy, and that means branding cows. I mean, $300 a week. And I could also be sitting with a multi-billionaire, and nobody cared because, as we've talked about, it's just a great equalization. It's just dried leaves. So it didn't matter about it. So it wasn't so much a status thing. I think now what's happening because of social media and all the influencers, apparently, I think they try to make it more, oh, you're this and you're that. Where, a guy who's on a construction site lights a cigar is just no different than the guy who's driving a Rolls Royce lighting a cigar. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just, you're still lighting dead leaves. We don't see that here so much. I think we see an array of people. Where I smoke, I would say, for lack of a better term, we have the Amazon delivery guys to the guys that are worth stupid money and everything in between.
How are they influenced by branding and packaging, or aren't they? They're just price
They're not.
sensitive.
No, when you ask them what they're smoking, or they'll say, oh, and really, I love our chemist because you'll walk in there. Now he knows my taste and he'll be like, have you tried this? And I like, no. And he'll give you a stick to try. That's how I found the Diamond Crown Florida one. And it was great. And now I'm hooked and I buy boxes. But it's a lot because the chemist offers, and then you get certain people that'll walk in, they know what they want. You'll have others that are brand new. And what I've noticed the brand new people do is they kind of sit with everybody and say, what do you smoke? What's this? So they're trying to learn. And then, if they're a brand new guy, they'll give them some light, mild to light cigar so they don't, do the Technicolor yawn. So it's a very interesting the way people that I see where I go in the US and smoke different than when I'm in Europe. In Europe, it's much different. It's like you go in, you have to kind of know what you're doing. yada yada yada. You don't, they'll help you, but you're expected to know. It's a different mentality, I think. Anytime
It
you want to
is.
jump in there.
No. But yeah, that goes back to the U.S. market is very different. It is much more inclusive. And when I said it's more blue collar, it's blue collar. What I'm saying is that you don't see a whole range of cigar smokers here. You see you'll see a range of ages, but when
Right,
it comes to sort of like spending on cigars,
right,
sort of
right.
like the I think it's it's just a wealthier audience, to be
Well, it's
very
because
honest.
also your cigars over there, if you start smoking
Well, there you
Cubans, you're
go.
smoking $25 to $100 or
Yeah, well,
25 to
there you go.
100
That's it.
pound
It cannot be
sticks.
a casual smoke. And
Right,
unfortunately, and that's what's changed about the industry over so many years. And that's what's changed about this hobby of mine.
right,
As I say, I relate back to my father's time. It was very easy to buy, a box of Monte Cristos and smoke them, over a couple of weeks and have
right,
like, 6 or 7 boxes lying around open without any real excellent humidification, because you can actually smoke those boxes, right? You're
right.
not collecting, you're just smoking. You're
Yeah,
buying cigars like cigarettes almost, and you're smoking on the go, if you know what I mean. And you could do it very easily. And at that time, I would have said in the late 70s, early 80s, it was still a very professional pursuit. You were a
right,
banker or a doctor or or a lawyer, and you were smoking cigars. You were in sort of professional,
right.
and because you could easily afford to buy those cigars. And now to do the same activity, you have to be
A
a
doctor
much
or a
wealthier.
lawyer.
Well, no, you have to be a much wealthier person. You have to have much
Right.
more disposable income. But the casualness of that pursuit is kind of vanishing. It's becoming much
For
more specialist,
for
right?
you, for you in the UK, it is because between your tax and Hunters and Frank
I think
Owl
everywhere in the world. I
charging.
think everywhere in
No,
the world.
no,
The
it is
only
not
distortion, that I
here.
see really is the Middle East and the Chinese market, because they've
No,
got the
the
clientele
US.
wealth.
No, the US is great. I can still go buy a $6 cigar. I could
No,
buy
no,
a
I
$2
know, but you're not
cigar.
getting. But I'm not. But you're again. This is that Cuban and
Yeah, but so listen, I like Cuban cigars. I have every Sunday, a gentleman and I, we sit down, we have our Cubans, and then we go out for our dinner or lunch, and we sit with our group and we sit outside like gentlemen eating steaks and having Cuban cigars. I got that. Cubans are wonderful. Non-Cubans, there are some wonderful non-Cubans, not for you, but for the rest of the world. So for the rest of the world, if you don't want to spend 500 pounds on a stick to smoke, you can spend anywhere from $4 to say $20, and you can enjoy a cigar that's maybe not as good as a Cuban, but just as good as a cigar you're going to get and
no, but
enjoy
this is
it.
just it. Even the non-Cuban cigars, or whatever you want to call them,
Hmm?
the if you want to go specific, the Dominican leaf or the Nicaraguan
Nicaraguan.
leaf or the
Right,
whatever,
right.
they have been continuously pricing up to try and
Yes.
achieve even the Davidoffs. I mean,
Right.
this
Oh, that's crazy.
Oro Blanco is a 500 pound
Yeah. It,
proposition. Okay,
right.
right? Okay. Now, I'm sure Davidoff are not expecting to make humongous sales of that cigar, but it's a
Right.
bit of a price leader. You have a very, very expensive product that everyone aspires to have, but then you can still buy a $50 product that is still part of the same range, right?
Right.
Okay. So your accessibility is, well, I can't have the Rolls Royce, but I can have the smaller car that Rolls Royce makes. I
Right.
can't have the S class Mercedes, but I can have the A class Mercedes. It's still a Mercedes, if you
There's an
know what I
A-class
mean.
Mercedes, really? I didn't know that.
Well,
Okay.
there you go. It is
Yeah.
what it is. No, there is an A
Okay.
class, but you can,
Okay.
instead of having the big Mercedes that I aspire to, I can have a small Mercedes and still have part of that dream, if you know what I
Gotcha.
mean. Yeah,
All
right.
right.
But as a consequence of this global phenomenon of the increase of cigar smokers and the
Mhm.
increase of the price of tobacco leaves, and it's not just Cuban, they're all increasing.
Right.
And so, for example, the year of the horse stick in the UK, well, forget Year of the Horse because I don't know it that well. I haven't smoked it. But remember a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, it was the Year of the Snake.
Yep. Is
That's
that the
sort
one
of
you
like
thought that
a
had lavender in it? Is that the lavender one?
no. That's not
Okay.
lavender. It
Yeah.
was a sort of had a citrus bite to it.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Gotcha. Okay.
it had a citrus bite to it, but it's about my recollection, if recollection serves me correct, was about £100 per stick here,
Right.
roughly. And
Okay.
in the USA, it won't be £100 per £100.
50.
It'll be something
It'll
like
be 50 US.
50 US dollars.
Yeah,
Okay.
US dollars, which is
Right. So that
maybe
market is
45 pounds.
differentiated. The
Yeah.
market is differentiated. And so the pricing of cigars in non-US territories is kind of like not beginning to equalize, but getting more equal. Like, there is this rush to have products that are very high-end products, very high-end, very highly priced products
Right.
as product leaders. Um, God knows where that's going, because the casualness of cigar
Yeah.
smoking to me is vanishing.
Well,
To be very
see,
honest with you.
what's interesting is I smoke a lot of small batch cigars because I find that they'd be better. There's a gentleman I met and he gave me his cigar. It's called Guns and Cigars. And it was a great smoke. But then I said to the chemist, I said, how much is it, a stick or a box? And he was like $35. And I'm like, it's a great smoke, but it's not a $35 smoke. It's not a $350, $400 box of cigars to me. I'd spend that for a Padron 1926 all day long. But there are, like, I go back to the CAO Brazilian Amazon, and you're welcome, CAO, because it's the only good cigar you make. That cigar for $6, $7, $120 for a box of 20 is a great smoke. It's full body. You get everything. You get the flavor you want. You get the smoke you want. You get everything. So there's still some cigar companies out there, I think, whether they're Cuban, not Cuban, they're just getting nutsy cuckoo, but the non-Cuban, the Dominican, the Nicaraguan, whatever, I think they still understand that you still have to, not everybody is going to spend X dollars on a year of a horse, even though it's 17,450 boxes are being produced, which is a lot of boxes. And still last week, our chemist had boxes left. So that tells me people aren't spending like they used to. You know what I mean? Like the year of the tiger sold out, the year of the rat, the year of the horse, not so much. And that's one of their better smokes. The year of the tiger was the last good one. But I'm just saying, so I think Davidoff is going to price themselves to a point the year of is going to be, yeah, okay, great. I'll buy a stick, I'll try it, and I'm not going to buy a box. And I think it's like anything else. You're going to price yourself out of a marketplace, and just because 10 people can afford it, 10 people do not make a profit. Like I said, on Lost Dollar yesterday, we talked about luxury goods, and cigars are luxury good. Luxury goods now are not advertising it, but they're giving discounts from 10 to 35% because even the rich are trying to hold on to their money now because they're not sure what's going on with the economy and what's going on globally. It's the same with cigars. At some point, people are going to be like, yeah, I don't need a Cohiba. What's that non-Cuban you have for like 10 pounds? And they'll smoke that because it's going to be like it's too expensive. And that's how they'll find out.
I think genuinely the market is for cigars is scammy.
Okay.
Generally, it's very artificially priced. It's very artificially inflated.
Right.
The lack of the squeezing of product to get the most out of it is a bit like, you remember the oil cartels?
Yeah.
That priced up the barrels sort of in the 70s, the OPEC oil issue, et cetera, et cetera. When it comes to, like, for example, the Cuban cigar industry is overly inflated massively.
Yes.
At scam level. I think it's a scam level, to be very honest. I don't mind using those words. I couldn't really care less. It is what it is. And if someone disagrees with me, that's great. Carry on buying.
Yeah, they can come on the show and discuss it.
Right. No, I have no issue with, it's no issue. It's highly inconsequential what I say, other than we are having some discussions about it, right? Yeah, but it's a massive scam, right? There's only a finite amount of supply. And how can those cigars be worth so much? Oh, now you've got aged cigars, you've got vintage cigars, you've got special cigars. So this is what I think the conversation that I had yesterday, which talked about packaging. Packaging plays a hugely important part in upselling what is basically a finite supply of tobacco leaves, right?
But
so
think about that.
I don't know the figure. Someone will correct me, or someone message me and tell me how many cigars, how many sticks are produced out of Cuba. And let's just talk about Cuba just as an example. every year? I don't know I really don't know the answer. Okay,
I don't
yeah,
think
I would
they'll. I don't think
imagine.
Habanos would tell you. I think
I
Habanos is
would
going to keep that a
imagine.
secret.
I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 20 million sticks. I don't
Okay.
know, 10 million sticks. That's my
Okay.
guess.
Let's
It's a
go. Let's
guess.
go
It's
with.
just a
Let's just go
guess,
with 10. Let's go with
right?
10 million.
It can be in a good crop year, it might be 5% more. In a bad
Right.
crop year, it might be 5% less. There's a standard
Right.
deviation both ways, right? But how can that be up priced so much every fucking year?
Right.
How is that possible, right? Okay. It's the same with coffee beans. It's the same with oil.
Right.
Everything is designed to scam you out of more and more money. And I'll keep using that word. If you're enjoying it, it's not a scam for you, and that's fine. But
Right.
ultimately, it's a disproportionate pricing, as far as I can see.
Right.
The value for money is being lost at a humongous rate, and unfortunately, the younger crowd coming into smoking cigars just accepts it willy-nilly. There's no sort of consumer advocacy in this. There is no one to say, you know what, you're spending £1,000 on a box of 20 cigars. Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
There's no one to say that.
Right. I
Actually,
do.
people say
I
the
say that.
opposite. People say the opposite.
Right.
Oh, it's wonderful you got it for £1,000 because in 6 months' time it'll be worth £1,200.
Well,
That is the scam. You are being led down a path, and
well.
you're happily going down that path. It's like the Pied Piper of Hamelin playing his flute and
Yeah.
leading the kids away. Yeah, it's that's what it is.
But let's.
And real value and real cigars, coming back
Right.
to cigars, yeah, the realness of it is always, I find, reminded to me by people who've been around a long time to see where these products have developed from. And they're the
Right.
ones who are going to comment on things like, the packaging used to be just a plain box. And now
Right.
look at how elaborate the packaging is just to get that product across to you.
Right. But that being said, we
Style over
both.
substance.
Right. Well, and we both know we have two acquaintances. One put his cigars for auction for he bought for 700 pounds back in, or 700 euro back in 2013, 2014, and they sold for 19,000, and it was in a plain box. We have another acquaintance that has a box from the 1990s that's worth probably 4 or 5 million pounds, and each stick is worth 250,000, and the box is just as plain. So then it gets into the rarity.
There will always be people who pay big money
Right.
for exclusive products, objects,
Correct.
rare products, but actually the day-to-day smoker, is also being scammed.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's how I see it, right?
Right.
Okay. It's ridiculous. It is really ridiculous to pay something like £50, even
Mhm.
for a Cuban stick,
Mhm.
that 10 years ago you may have paid £10 for.
Right.
Maybe. It's
So you're
ridiculous. It's
wait.
absolutely ridiculous.
I agree with you.
My cigar of the year last year, for example, was this Cohiba Siglo II, right? Cohiba Siglo
No,
II.
no, it was the 1991 Boliva thing. That's what you said you changed.
It might have been, but
But the
generally
Siglo
speaking,
2 was your
one
other
of my
one.
favorite cigars that I had a bit of a revival on is the Cohiba Siglo II. Cohiba
Yeah.
Siglo II, if anywhere you go in London, is sort of between, I don't know, 45 pounds up to just touch below
Okay.
£50. Depends where you go. In a hotel it'll
Right.
be
Right.
more expensive, and right, it's a £50. And literally 12 years ago, 10 to 12 years ago, it was €15, between 12 and €15.
Okay.
I would buy these sticks in Luxembourg, spend a lot of time in Luxembourg, and that's what it
Right.
was. And it's gone up 5 times in 10 years. And we're just talking about a product that hasn't changed. It's just the
Right.
same product. It's not packaged in any different way. It's just the same product. Why? How and why?
Let me ask you this: what's your tax on your cigars over there? Is it like
It feels like 99%.
okay? So maybe is that part of the reason? Is the part of the reason you only have one major distributor that everybody wants their little stupid sticker on the box, and that also makes it go up because they mark it up to 100%?
To be quite honest with you, I'm a little bit ignorant about something, and I hope someone would educate me on this. And
Okay.
and this is another topic. I want to know how it is, given that we have entities like Monopolies and Mergers Commission here in the UK, right? Okay,
Right,
then
right.
basically what they do is they stop heavy industry or industry
Hmm?
creating artificial barriers to entry and therefore pricing themselves up, right? So, for
Right.
example, in the UK, you have one importer of Cuban cigars, right?
Hmm?
Which is Hunters and Franco. They've been around for 235 years, I believe,
Right.
right? I wonder, just generally, it's a general question. I think it's a reasonable question. Why is there only one importer? And so, generally, the answer I would get is because Habanos
Hmm.
SA likes to only deal with one importer in the UK, or per territory, right?
Right.
That may be the case, but how does that work? And what are the mechanics behind it? I'm ignorant to these things.
Right.
There are certain subtleties in there which I can understand, right? But there are certain subtleties which I don't understand. Um, those are things that, as far as I'm concerned, heavily influence pricing.
Right.
Heavily influence pricing. I'm a sucker to, if I walk, as you say, your local chemist, but if I go to my local tobacconist, right?
Right.
Okay, let's say I just walk into, for example, and we're not talking about lounges now. Let's say I walk into Selfridges, and Selfridges has got a little cigar shop in Selfridges, which is run by JJ Fox. Okay,
Okay.
right? The price that I pay for a cigar in there is heavily influenced by the fact that the prices are artificially hiked,
Right.
correct?
Right.
Right? I have no choice but to pay £42 for that stick,
Hmm.
right? But if there was some competition, there would be a price war. There would be a more reasonable uh, uh, result for the consumer,
Right.
in my opinion. But that's not possible. And I wonder why those situations still exist, why that status exists right now.
That's one of those monopolies that it's. I think it's so.
It's
How
like
do
a
I
car,
put it?
yeah.
It's underrated. I don't think anybody. I don't think that your
And no one
people
really
look at
calls
it.
it out too much.
Right.
I don't.
And nobody cares. Right. It's sort of like, yeah, okay, whatever.
No, I
Because
think people do care because it affects your pocket eventually, right? Instead of
how do I
just
put? I don't think the average person, if you gather everybody up in the UK and go, does cigar pricing matter to you? The 2% of you that go, yes, it does. It doesn't affect the 98%. So the government doesn't care.
no, I think
It's just that simple.
there's more hypnosis than that. Most people will say yes, pricing affects them, but it doesn't. They will say it affects them, but it doesn't affect
Right.
the way they spend money. They'll still go and buy that cigar,
No, I'm
right?
talking
Because
about if you take the whole
they don't really
UK.
have a choice.
Right.
I've noticed this, especially in the UK. Yeah, people complain about stuff, but they don't actually
Right.
do anything
Do
about it. They
anything.
still
Gotcha.
get in the queue and
Right.
wait.
Right. Well, but my point is though, if you took the full population of the UK, X% of those people are going to smoke cigars. It's the X% that are going to say, yes, it affects me. The other percent, let's say is 95% of the UK population doesn't smoke cigars. They don't care.
If you had a questionnaire, if you every time you went into a lounge, you had a
Right.
questionnaire that you just had to like basic questions, right? Okay, and one of
Right.
the questions was, "Are cigar prices too high?" Everyone would tick it. Every human being would tick it.
Right.
Every single person would tick it. Yeah, no one would say no, they're not too high.
Right.
Yeah, you'll find one person that might say that, right?
Yeah.
But
But the sheep,
no one changes their spending habits to account for that, as far as I can see.
right.
No one actually
And
tries to influence or
yeah.
right, because first of all, it's a small industry. I mean, when I
Right.
say small, I mean it's. I don't mean in terms necessarily of. Still a niche. Let's call it a niche industry,
It's
right?
a niche
It's
industry. Right.
very hard to know where to poke and prod it. It's very hard to know that. Yeah. And most people think that they're inconsequential. There's no real consumer advocacy, but there's no real consumer groups either. Yeah, we're all
Right.
individual cigar smokers. So that's a weird one, but it's a question to the air more than anything else.
Yeah. Well, like I said, here in the States, nobody cares. They just tax it. We got a warning like you do that says everything's going to kill you. So, that's why the kids stay inside and sit and, on iPads all day. But so I think it's one of these things. I think for some people like you and I and Usman and other guys that we know,
Who's not here?
it brings us back. Right. Because he's busy carrying makeup. He'll be with us next week. I think for there's a certain group of people that the cigars remind of a more easier time, a more laid back time, a more romantic time. I think to your other point, I think the cigars for another generation, they look at it as it's a lifestyle. Look at me lighting my cigar with the hat and the I get it. I think so. There's a happy medium. Price wise, you either afford it or you can't afford it. I know when we go to Dubai, we try to bring our own cigars because every time I go and try to buy cigars, first of all,
Yeah,
they
here
don't
the
have any
market
Cuban
is really,
cigars.
they've
Oh,
really
forget
gone
that.
askew
I
with
have to
their
go
pricing.
I have to go to a guy that takes me to the back room because they're afraid to put out the Cubans because everyone's buying them. And then when I go to the Habanos store, after I go to Meat Moo, which is the best brisket in the world, by the way, but after I go to there, they have like one cigar in the store. I'm like, what happened? Because we just sold out. I'm like, how many do you get? He's like, 5. I'm like, oh, okay. So
Here's a
there's
question to
more,
the air for any of
yeah,
our guests that might come on next week or the week after, right?
or
Because
the
we don't
week
want to
after
take up
that.
time with.
Sure.
I want to know what is the best value for money
Hmm.
and experience Cuban cigar out there. For me,
How about
right now,
non-Cuban?
and I don't mean necessarily the cheapest. No, I'm talking about
Right.
Cuban. There's a reason why I'm saying Cuban, because for me, that's a little bit of a litmus test for other cigars as well, right? Okay.
Okay.
What is the best value Cuban cigar out there right now? And a lot of people might say it's the Veguero or Vegueros Centrofino because that won an award last year, right?
No,
But
no,
what
I
is the
got
best
one.
value cigar?
I got one. Juan Lopez. Juan Lopez to
Okay.
me is the most underrated Cuban cigar out there. If you ask
Okay.
people their top 5 Cubans, Juan Lopez will never come up.
No, it won't come up, no.
No, but Juan Lopez to me is one of the best underrated Cuban cigars out there. I enjoy every Juan Lopez I've ever had. I'm talking about the cigars, thank you.
Mhm.
I've always loved. I've never had a bad one. And it's not a well-known cigar. It's not Cohiba. It's not Upman. It's not I was going to Padron, but it's not Partagas. It's not any of those. It's just Juan Lopez, and it makes a great stick. I've never had a bad one from his regionals to his others.
Well, that's a good thought to end on.
Oh, we're
Shall we
ending?
roll out
Oh,
on
well,
that?
then I guess, sure, we can be done on that. Oh, no, it was a short show today, kids. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching the show. Hope you like all the cartoon stuff that we're going to be putting in and all the upgrades and all this. Usman, we didn't miss you. Anyway, thank you to all the fans. We'll see you all next week. Have a happy and healthy new year, everybody, and thanks for joining us this morning. Cheers, everybody.